The Expand Pedal Power Battery Kit is the ultimate solution for gigging musicians who rely on pedals to shape their sound, giving you drop-and-go rechargeable power that's always clean, quiet, and reliable.
Pedalboard, walk me through what you got down here.
Yeah, okay, so this was built by Exact Tone Solutions here in Nashville, Tennessee.
Love Barry.
In fact, I was over there this morning because at our gig in Oklahoma, a friend of mine stepped on the cable and broke the input jack, and they got me turned around and out the door super fast. This is, it's the perfect rig for me. So it's based around the RJM Mastermind switcher, the PBC6X, and I have a handful of pedals in the loop, and the ones that are not in the loop, like up here on the top row, are being controlled and switched on and off by MIDI.
Okay.
So the reason I built this board is my songs, my EP is very effect heavy, and they're all very different sounds. So over the course of a song, I will go from, straight up fuzz to phaser and delay and all kinds of different stuff, and I need to be able to switch like that instantly. So I basically have each one of my songs set from intro, hook, bridge, solo, whatever, and it's just doing all of everything for me. So when I'm here on stage, I just bang through and hit what I want. But then if we get to a situation where there's a jam or I want to get off the rails, I just hit this function button and it turns into just a loop switcher.
Oh, all right.
And I can turn on each individual pedal down here really easily.
Well, rather than, normally we would go through each individual pedal, maybe just walk us through some of the core sounds.
Yeah,
What
cool.
you got set up?
So this is like an intro sound that I use a lot. So a big part of the sound is the chroma console from Hologram. I bought one of these when it first released, and I used it all over my record for guitar, bass, drums, everything went through the chroma console. So I got a second one to put on my board, and right now this is using it primarily as a compressor with a little bit of saturation. So those are just the amps, and there is some phaser happening from the HX1.
Okay.
But I've got a whole bunch of different sounds pulled up there.
That chrome or hologram in general, I'm only familiar with that one now, and then the more rectangular pedal, but they are killing it.
Microcosm.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, they're amazing. Really cool company based out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
I'm a huge fan of everything they do, basically.
Yeah.
It's super cool. Let's see, another star of the show is the Preamp Mark II from Chase Bliss. So this I'm using as a boost, an EQ, a fuzz, overdrive, whatever, depending on the sound. And then another interesting thing of note is the duophony from GFI system. So this pedal does not actually make sound. It's a stereo line mixer. So I have two pedals plugged into it, which is the Synesthesia from GFI and the Dark World from Chase Bliss. And throughout the show, I'm using this to blend these two pedals together in different combinations and different sounds. So we'll go to a different. So you can see here I'm using it as an 80s tri-chorus and some reverb, and then I have this controlling the blend of the two to give me a nice lush. So right there's a good example. The intro of the song, I'm using chorus, a touch of reverb, a little bit of the chroma console for this thing, and then the hook is the phaser and I believe just the Preamp Mark II, and that's giving me.
Yeah. Very different.
Isn't
If you were
that cool?
to do that
with
your feet, you would still be doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's cool to see all the faders move through presets on the preamp. And so, and then for the solo, another sort of hallmark of this sound is the beam splitter from Old Blood Noise, which is 3 different distortion circuits in one with a sort of interesting modulated delay spatial thing in between, which you can do all kinds of stuff with. But and there I'm using it with the Argonaut from Mythos, which is an octave up thing. It's just the octave up. So what's cool about that is any of my overdrives or my fuzzes I can turn into octave drives or fuzzes, which I love. So I can use the actual fuzz or just like the Noel overdrive here. So it's the Argonaut is super useful. It's really small. It's micro size, so it'll fit on just about any board.
In the memory lane here, you put that on for a second. What's that?
So I just got this. This one is the I believe this is their Mark I tone bender clone. I bought a NOS version of the Mark I from Macari's a few years ago, and it's my favorite fuzz ever. So when they sent this out to me, and I plugged it up, and I immediately put it on the board. So it's you know, just a heavy, heavy fuzz. Doesn't really like clean up super well or anything, but it's just
but why would you want that?
It's so heavy. Like you feel the compression when it like blooms out. It's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
Other cool thing is the mood. So the mood here from Chase Bliss is the Mood Mark II. This is the only thing. This and the boost are not controlled by or in the looper at all. This is the very last thing in the chain, and the idea here is that at different points of the show, this is kind of always listening, always looping. So I can play something. And then start looping it. Well. And then I can use that as a way to sort of like it's just a fun like soundscape generator thing. You can do all kinds of crazy cool stuff with. And then the Zeo boost from Source Audio, there's just an analog boost, and it's in the loop, but it's always on, so that at any time, like if I want just a boost on top of whatever I've got going, I can just hit that and it'll hit the amps harder.
Now, just for everyone to keep track at home, how are you hitting the amps with this? Like, is
just straight in the front.
Okay, both of them then?
Yeah.
Getting it?
So I'm coming out of the board into this Lely ABY box I just bought as a way to try out the dual amp thing. And so I'm coming out of the board straight into this and then splitting out of this straight into the front of both amps.
Okay.
And I picked this one because it has a phase flip on it.
Gotcha.
And the 2 amps are out of phase with each other, so I can fix that. But yeah, that's kind of the quick overview of the board. I mean, other notable things, the HX1, this is kind of my like wild card fill in the gaps pedal. It can be anything, basically.
Yeah.
So I have it doing a bunch of different stuff depending on how everything else is set. And yeah.
It's funny how Line 6, you could start with the Helix floor and then it have the different iterations of the thing that just keeps condensing down, but still has a lot of the generators that are going, or that the noises you want.
Yeah, man. And the board itself, I have to shout out Barry and Eric from Exactone. They built this for me. It is the best board I've ever had. My favorite thing about it is this interface here. I believe they call this the MIDI Facer. I can't remember the exact name of it, but you can run 2-cable or 4-cable methods. So for instance, if I'm just running the 2-rock, I can plug the send and return from the effects loop in here, and it will automatically do the switching to put some of these effects in the loop and some
Okay.
of them in the front of the amp. And I don't know how they wired it up to get it to do that thing for me, but that was a requirement I had. It's like sometimes I want an effects loop, sometimes I don't. And it also has an extra 9-volt out here, so like I'm running the Lately off of that. It's such a useful thing.
They're problem solvers.
Dude, they're so good. They're so good. And it's a hinged tiered board. It's built like a tank. The cable management and dressing is amazing. They're the best.